Hey everybody, this is Coach Hammett coming to you from beautiful Georgetown, Texas, here in room 122. Recording this during third period on Monday. Everybody say hi. All right, so here we go. And there's always those kids that can't follow directions. Okay, so here we go. Parallel perpendicular lines. Going with that. Really kind of confusing, but we'll go over it. We'll make sure we know it here. All right, parallel lines. These are lines that never touch. All right? These are lines that never touch. And in order for them to never touch, their slope is the same. All right? Slope is the same of parallel lines. Now, perpendicular lines are lines that intersect at a 90-degree angle. All right? So lines that intersect at a 90-degree angle. Now, there are a couple of signs that we're going to use for parallel lines. Parallel lines are going to look like this when we draw them. We're going to draw two little lines right like that. Perpendicular, it's an upside-down T. All right? Upside-down T. And sometimes you'll see a little box right there. That box means 90 degrees. Just like a square is 90 degrees, that's what's there. Okay? So parallel lines, slope is the same. Perpendicular lines, lines that intersect at a 90-degree angle, the slope, M, is the negative reciprocal. And I'm sure I'm spelling that wrong. All right? I don't know. Maybe right. It's the negative reciprocal. So let's say that it's parallel lines and the slope is 2. M equals 2. Well, M is going to equal 2 for both lines. All right? Both lines. Now, for perpendicular, if one of the lines is M equals 2, then the other one has to be M equals negative 1 over 2. We take it, we flip it over, we add a negative sign. So even if it started negative, it's going to end up opposite. So it's going to end up as a positive. Okay? All right, moving on. Here we go. Write slope-intercept form of an equation for a line that passes through this and is parallel to this. Holy smokes, where do I even start? Well, it says it's parallel, so my slope has to be the same. All right, my slope is going to be the same in both of them. Okay, and wait, I've got an X and I've got a Y. So really, all I need to do is figure out what the new B value is going to be for that. So let's set it up. I'm going to say it's 3 equals 1/2, because the slopes are the same, times 2 plus B. All right? And basically, guys, it's just Y equals MX plus B. So because it's parallel, the slope stays the same. The X value goes right there. The Y value goes right there. And we're good. Let's solve this. 3 equals, well, 2 times 1/2 is 1 plus B. B equals 2. So now I'm looking for something that has a B value of 2 and an M of 1/2. I look right here. It's not A. It's not B. It is C. 1/2 X plus 2. Can't be D right there either. All right? Okay, moving on. All right, so the graph shows the diagonals of a rectangle. We're going to determine whether JL is perpendicular to KM. Now, the little line up above it means segment. All right, unless it has little arrows on it, then it's lines that go on for infinity. All right, now perpendicular. We talked earlier, perpendicular lines are going to be the negative reciprocal. And I'm just going to put that. All right, negative reciprocal. So we need to figure out what the slope is for JL. So the M of JL equals what? Well, I know it's negative because my money's going down. All right, and it's rise over run. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's negative 5 over 4. Excuse me. So for these to be perpendicular, what do I need angle KM to be? Well, the negative reciprocal of this would be positive 4 over 5. Let's see if that's what we get. If I go KM right here, my rise is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My run is 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's not 4, 5, it's 5 over 4. And because these are not the same, because they're not the negative reciprocal of what you started with, it is not perpendicular. It is not perpendicular to that. Remember, it's got to be the exact same. Flip it over, change the sign. Okay? So instead of 5/4, it should have been 4/5. All right, let's keep going. Boom, boom, boom. Here we go. Determine whether these graphs, this line, and this line, are parallel or perpendicular or nothing, and explain it. Okay? All right, so let's see. Well, the first thing I need to do is I need to get them to all look the same. And the easiest way to make them is y equals mx plus b. I need to change them all into mx plus b. This one's good. Y equals 1/3 x plus 2. So I'm just going to write it here. Y equals 1/3 x plus 2. Let's change this one right here to y equals mx plus b. And it's really easy. All I have to do is subtract 3x. So I've got y equals negative 3x plus 12. You should start seeing something about this slope and this slope right now. Okay? Go like that. Let's go 2x minus 6y equals negative 5. And I want to make it y equals mx plus b. So what am I going to do? I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. I'm going to get negative 6y equals negative 2x minus 5. And then I'm going to divide by negative 6. Divide everything by negative 6. So I've got y equals 1/3 x plus 5 over 6. Okay, so now what I want to look at is the slopes for each one of these lines. Okay, so I've got, let me circle them in red real quick. I've got this one, I've got this one, and I've got this one. Okay, well, I look right here, 1/3 x, 1/3 x. What can you tell me about these two right there? These are parallel. All right, those are parallel lines because they have the same slope, different y-intercepts. Okay, so now I look at this negative 3x, and I compare it to, let's go in green. Why not? Go right here, 1/3 and negative 3. Well, that's the negative reciprocal. I can take 1/3 and flip it 3 over 1 and put a negative sign in front of it, and that's the negative reciprocal. So these are perpendicular. And if it's perpendicular to this line, it's got to be perpendicular to that line as well because they're parallel lines. Okay? All right, going on. And look, there are the graphs for that. You've got your 3 lines, 1, 2, 3. You've got your 2 lines that were parallel and your 1 line that's perpendicular to them. Okay, so the next thing we've got is all of these things that we're going to give you a point. All right, write an equation in slope-intercept form for a line that passes through this point and is parallel. Right then, as soon as you hear parallel, you need to think same slope. Parallel lines have the same slope. Different b value. Different b value. And b is your y-intercept. Okay? So right here, I'm going to take this, and remember, this is your x and your y. And there goes my y. Here goes the x right there. And so we're going to solve this. We're going to say negative 2 equals 1/2 times 4. And then think about it. It's not negative 7 because it's a new line, plus b. Okay, plus b. So let's solve this now. Negative 2 equals 2 plus b. I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. B equals negative 4. Don't leave it like that. That is one of the biggest mistakes people make, is they leave it b equals negative 4. What you need to do is, it says write an equation. While that is an equation, it's not in slope-intercept form. Y equals 1/2 x minus 4. That is our final answer on this problem. Okay? If you were to graph this on your calculator, you would see that it goes through 4, negative 2. Okay. Determine whether the graphs of this are parallel or perpendicular. If you look, they already drew the 3 lines for you right there. And you can see nothing is parallel on this. So none of them, to be parallel, it would have to be the same slope. So like for the red, there would need to be another line going like this, all right, at the same slope. So there's none that are parallel. Looking right here at green, I can automatically tell that green is not perpendicular. Now, I will say, don't trust just your vision on your calculator, because your calculator screen is a little bit different. The aspect ratio is a little bit different, and it makes it, the lines more squatty. All right, and I know that's a technical term, squatty, but it just, you can't rely on just the way it looks on your calculator. All right, so I know that none of the lines are parallel. None of the lines parallel, none of the, yep, we're good. Looking at this line and looking at this line, there's a good chance that these are perpendicular. All right, the only way that I can solve that is by figuring out what this one is in y equals mx plus b. So let's go x minus 2y equals negative 4. I'm going to subtract x from both sides. Negative 2y equals negative x minus 4. Divide by negative 2, divide by negative 2. Y equals 1/2 x plus 2. And you can check and see if you got it right. There's a couple of things. It crosses at 2, 1 up, 2 over, 1 up, 2 over, right like that. Now, is 1/2 the negative reciprocal of negative 2? And it absolutely is. So those two lines, negative 2x plus 1 and x minus 2y, are perpendicular right there. Our answer is A. All right, guys, well, this is your longest video up to this point. There's still a couple of slides I didn't get to. We'll go over this perpendicular line. Just make sure that you change the slope to make sure that it is a negative reciprocal. All right, I hope you have a good day. Remember, we're going over this in class. This is just for study. You're going to do great on the test. We'll talk to you later. Bye.